Here's a project that I started a couple of years ago and I never completed, or been kind of slow at completing it. I'm going to start working on it now. This is the cabinet. Now this was a Motorola radio record player from late 40s. Here's a picture of what it's supposed to look like. Radio Museum website. So it's a 78 RPM only record player and an AM FM radio. So record player goes here and like a slide out. The radio is supposed to go here and it folds out. So I've already restored those. They're over here. I've already done videos on them. I can link to them. There's the old record player. Really cool the way it works. And there's the radio back in there. So this cabinet, and I got this thing as kind of a basket case. It was already taken apart, so I'm not even sure I have all of the parts to make it go back together. I may be missing a few things, so we'll see how far I get. But I'll take a crack at this is fixing the cabinet up. It's already been stripped, at least partially. On the top, this side has not been stripped, so it'll let me know what color it's supposed to be. And this side, well, that's been stripped. Got a lot of black stains, water stains, so see if I can get those off. And some deep gouges here and there. Maybe I can sand those out. So pretty rough shape. So even if I get it refinished, it's not gonna look pristine, but that's from the 40s, that'll be okay. So I don't even know where to start. I'm not much of a woodworker, wood furniture refinishing guy. So, yeah, let's see. Maybe we'll get started on it and see what I can do for it. All right, here's the unstripped side, or one of the unstripped sides of the cabinet. So I'm trying to figure out what this original finish was. It obviously has to be removed. It's all scratched up. And you know, the other sides have already been removed. So I'm thinking it might be not lacquer, but what's that stuff the old records are made out of? Shellac. Yeah, it might be shellac, which is dissolved by denatured alcohol. So I just poured some on a rag here and trying to see, let it set for a while, see what it's going to do. So the alcohol should dissolve the shellac, and yeah, it looks like it is. This is getting all gooey. So I think that's probably shellac, so maybe that's what I'll try to put back on it. And then I'll go ahead and use the alcohol to strip this side. Then I'll see. Unfortunately, this is a veneered. It's not solid wood, so I can't sand too much. And this has got, the top's got some scrapes in it, which I'm not going to be able to sand out. So I'll have to figure out what to do with those. But now you can see right here. Look real close. There's the thickness of the veneer. So it's not super thin, but not real thick either. So I'm going to continue on with stripping this side, and then we'll start with the refinishing. Okay, looks like this is working. I'm sure the refinisher guys are kind of laughing right now. I really don't know what I'm doing. But it looks like right here where I put the denatured alcohol first and let it soak for a while, it's all that finish is removed right there, and then this white stuff is the remaining. So I'm going to keep going with the alcohol and see if I can get this whole side looking like that. Stuff doesn't smell too bad. Not like lacquer thin or anything. It has kind of a good smell. I don't know if it's bad for you or not. Probably should have read the back of the can. No, this is the denatured alcohol is the type that they put stuff in so that you won't drink it. So I guess it's the normal. This is methyl alcohol that is in liquors and beer and wine and stuff. But it does seem to dissolve this shellac. Kind of see where I rub it, it just kind of turns yellowish or whatever. It's a good way to strip. I'll continue doing this, and probably have to do some sanding too. Get it completely done. But it's looking good. Now this is looking pretty good now. I don't think I have all of it. There's still a little bit left, but I may just do some sanding and sand off the rest of the finish. But it looks like the denatured alcohol stripped shellac off pretty well. So let's sand it a little bit. Got all the finish removed, and you know, using the denatured alcohol to dissolve the shellac. A little bit of sanding with 500 and then with 220. Now, I still do have these big black, looks like water stains. I think that's what they are anyway. So got some oxalic acid. I think I'm going to try mixing up some of that and trying to fade these water stains out. We'll do some final finish sanding and then try to come up with a plan for a finish to match the original finish. It looks about like that. Okay, I've got some oxalic acid mixed up. 1 ounce of powder per 1 cup of liquid hot water. So I'm going to try this stuff out. I've never really used it before, but I've seen it used in other videos, so we'll see how it works. Hopefully it gets rid of these dark water stains. That's the plan. It doesn't smell terrible. Stuff is also called wood bleach. I guess it slightly lightens the color of the wood also. Dose of it over here where the stain's the worst. Alright. We will let that set for a while and dry. That's how you're supposed to use this. I can tell you, it looks like it's already starting to lighten up that stain. Alright, we'll let that go. See what happens. Well, I think that stuff's working. Here was the big stain right here. You see there's still a bit of an outline of it, but it's certainly lightened up quite a bit, and there was a big black patch. I don't even know where it was. I think it was right here. Anyway, it's completely gone. So, yeah, that worked pretty well. You're supposed to let this dry completely from what I recall seeing. This isn't dry, 100% dry, but it's getting there. And then you got to rinse it off with some clean water to get rid of the oxalic acid. And this is the stuff right here. That's the stuff that I mixed up. So that looks pretty darn good. I've got this big one right here too, on the side. So after this top is finished, I'm going to roll it over, set this side up, and give that side a treatment. But I think that's pretty acceptable. Probably I'm going to sand that a little bit more, so maybe I'll be able to get some more of that out. There's also this little dark patch here that didn't seem to do too much too. So I may just have to try to sand that out or just live with it. Yeah, great improvement. Alright, the oxalic acid treatment is complete. Here's the top. This has just got the rinse water on it, so it looks like it has some finish, but it's just watered down. That looks it's almost completely gone. You can still see a little ghost of the image. Here's this side. It's a lot lighter. There's still some of it there. Hopefully I can sand out some more of that. And then you got this one here still visible. See if sanding helps that. This side I treated too, but it didn't really have any black stains, so that's what she looks like now. I'll go ahead and let it dry out and then do some more sanding, and then I think I'll be ready to come up with a plan for finishing it. Alright, so this is dried off now. So here's the dark spot on the top and the original dark spot on the side, and here's a semi-dark spot here too. That side looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and do some sanding here, and this should be the final sanding, and see if that improves things a little bit more. Well, that's not completely getting rid of it, but it's about as much as I don't really want to sand too much, because I don't want to sand through the veneer. So I think I'll just go with that. I've restarted or started the finishing on the cabinet here. Here's what I've gotten so far. I've been using shellac, which was what was originally on the cabinet. And I'm using the 100% wax-free shellac because I may want to put some stain or something on top, so it's recommended that you use the wax-free style. So, but here is the issue I'm running into. This is the original finish, which is quite darker than the new one. But I'm thinking I like this more. It's only got like 2 or 3 coats of shellac on it so far, but it's probably not going to get much darker than that. And I always knew that I was probably not going to be able to match these two, the unfinished one, well, the original finish and a new finish. So probably what I will do is strip this to be able to make it look like that. If I want to go with this, and I think I'm going to. I like the look of it, the lighter look. Now this has a different type of wood on the facing here, but it's coming pretty close to the top and the sides, and I kind of like that contrast that it has, which I think they hid that on the original finish, but I'm liking that, so I think I'm going to leave that in. One thing I think I will have to do though is on the base itself. I don't think that looks good light, so I think I'm going to get some brown gel stain and kind of stain that bottom part a little darker. I think that will look better. So that may be the only staining that I do. And everything else just kind of a clear natural shellac finish. So that's the process. Now, you know, this is where the turntable goes. So when the drawer is closed, the turntable will be hidden, so I'm not going to worry about refinishing any of this really. I'll leave that dark. Now the radio face itself, since I don't know that I can find all those decals, I didn't really plan on refinishing that. You know, if I can find those decals, I might go ahead and strip that and give it the same treatment too. But this actually hides, you know, this folds up into that hole right there. So the only time you'll actually see that face is when you're playing the radio or adjusting it. So I may leave that as is. So that's what I'm going to do. This is what it looks like so far. You know, I like that that clear, lighter look. So we're going with that, even though it's not 100% original. I think it'll look better. So like I've said before, I'm sure, in this video, is I really don't know what I'm doing here, but what I've done is I've got at least I don't know, probably 20 coats of shellac on this thing. And it's pretty rough. You know, there's like runs and stuff like that. It looks okay if you don't look too close, but I've already started sanding this, but you look on the edges, I don't know if you can see. You can see like little shiny things that are shining through. So I'm trying to use the, just picked up a little Ryobi random orbit sander. I'm using 320 grit sandpaper, pretty fine. You kind of slowly kind of cut through the highs on the finish and try to get it smooth. So, I mean, some of these deeper scratches I'm never gonna, those are way too deep to cover up, but just trying to get the grain glitterness out of it and make it smooth. And then I'll get some finer grit sandpaper and get it down to more 500 or 1000 or something, get it nice and smooth. And that'll be the finish. So far on the top it's starting to look pretty good. Still some shininess, but I'll keep sanding with the sander and see if I can get this looking good. It's definitely improving, and then I'll have to do the other two sides too. I think this, the fronts, I'll just hand sand a little bit maybe, or actually it looks okay. I mean, it's a little too shiny, so I'll have to rough it up, but it actually looks pretty good. It's just these big flat surfaces that you can really see the ripples in the finish. I did a little bit of a mistake here, which I think actually helped me out. I think that's what I'm looking for. So I took some steel wool. I was going to just rub this a little bit from where I was sanding, and accidentally I had forgotten that this is the steel wool that I had the kind of wax polish infused in, as you can see. But after rubbing this down and then taking it off, I think that's the sheen that I kind of was looking for. Just about like that. So I think that's what I'm going to do for the finish on this. Just sand it flat with 320, and then just do steel wool, 4/0 steel wool with this stuff. I'll show you. I really like this stuff. Howard's Feed and Wax. So yeah, that's looking really nice. I think I like the sheen that's leaving. I might try doing the whole top and then let it sit overnight and see how it looks in the morning, but that may be what I go with. If not, I'll just strip it off with some mineral spirits and keep sanding. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I just got through cleaning off the buffing up off the wax, and that's looking really nice. That's just about the sheen I was looking for. So nice and flat. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other two sides with that technique, just the 350 grit sandpaper and Howard's Feed and Wax applied with 4/0 steel wool. And that's going to be the ticket on this thing. Now the front, I don't think I really need too much sanding. I think I'll probably just use some dry steel wool to kind of knock down the sheen a little bit, and then apply the Howard's Feed and Wax directly. So yeah, looking good. On to the sides. Now this is working really well, just using the little sander with 350 grit sandpaper to smooth out the side, or the sides and the top, and then just coating it with the beeswax polish. Really nice and smooth, have a nice feel to them. I kind of did the same thing. I kind of lightly sanded the front here, and then I'll just go ahead and use the beeswax polish on the front too. And I was trying to decide what to do at the base. I was considering maybe this was originally stained darker, but I'm kind of liking the natural finish because you can really see the wood grain everywhere. So even though this should be darker, I think I'm going to just leave it a clear finish also, just like the rest of the cabinet. So that'll be it. I've got one more side to do, and then I'm redoing this. This is the side that's where the record player goes. I still needed to strip that, so I'm in the process of doing that. And I'll finish that so that it matches this one. So right now you can see there's a big difference. There we go. One more side to do. Well, now that I got the cabinet pretty much ready to go, I'm moving on to the Grille cloth section here. There's really two. There's the speaker grill, and that goes right there somewhere. And then this is just a little door for, goes right here. This is where you store your records. So it's got this little thing that sits in there, and then it's got that little wood plate that sits behind it and holds it in. Now there also, you can see the ghost image of a little metal crosshatch thing that went on both sides, and I've only got one of those, so I'm going to have to just leave that off just for symmetry reasons, but I think that'll be okay. And these things are just actually made out of cardboard, and I'm really kind of astonished that that has lasted since 1947. The one here for the speaker grill is kind of falling apart. It's getting pretty soft, but just cardboard with the grill cloth glued to the back. And here's the new grill cloth I'll use. It's not an exact match, but I couldn't find an exact match, but I like this one. And instead of trying to reuse the cardboard, I'm going to use this as templates. I bought some hardboard here at Home Depot, and So I'll just use these, take the glue cloth off and use it as a template to cut the right size and glue the new grill cloth to that. That's kind of the next step up. This thing's ready. There's one of the doors. I'm still working on the front here to the, this is where the turntable goes. And I'm still adding shellac to that. I just stripped that yesterday and re-shellacking, so I'll get this up and looking like the other one. And then I will steal one of these speakers. I think I already mentioned earlier that I didn't get the speaker with the radio, so I will use one of those. Now, unfortunately, that speaker is a permanent magnet speaker, and the original one was an electrodynamic speaker where they use the electromagnet as part of the power supply for the radio. So I've had to add this little resistor to compensate for the missing resistance in the electrodynamic speaker coil. But that seems to work, and I don't get too much hum, so one of those speakers will get mounted right there. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on making those cutouts. I got the grill cloths installed. And again, this is just a door here, just to store your records. And the speaker is over on this side. Come on the back. And there's the Alnico magnet organ speaker that I swapped into that position. That should work fine. Well, it was working fine. It was on the bench. And then here I've got the wood case of the radio installed. I haven't installed the radio yet. It's still over there on the bench. But that's kind of next up. And then I'm still working on finishing the door here of the record player, which is over here. I should have that complete by tomorrow. So I should go ahead and mount the record player and get that installed too. Then I'll connect everything up. We'll hear what it sounds like in the console. I got the record player drawer installed here, and the turntable already installed. That's looking good. Still waiting on the radio here. It's empty. It's over there on the bench. Got a few more things to do to it. Originally, when I pulled this apart and was working on it, I broke the dial glass, and here's the remnant of it. That's what it should look like. And actually, another viewer who was watching the original video on the restoration of the radio said that he had one he was restoring, had a question. And I went and asked him if he had his original glass intact. He said he did. So I said, hey, can you make a scan of that and send it to me? Which he graciously did, and I've reproduced this one from the image that he sent me. Just printed it out on some of this water slide decal material and put it on this thin plastic that I got at Home Depot. Turned out pretty good. It's a little darker though than it should be. And here's a comparison. Here's the original to my reproduction. So I may try to lighten up this image and reprint it and do another one. Or if I'm unsuccessful at that, I'll just go with this, because you can read the numbers and you can see the dial underneath there. So that works, but I'd like to get it a little lighter. So, and then one more thing I need to do is take this resistor that replaces the coil in the speaker, and I want to mount that right back there. and connect the wires up to it and protect it so that I don't get shocked off of the high voltage that's across that. And after that's done, it'll be ready to install into the radio. It goes right there.
Plus, you'll receive a free bonus.
Okay, here's the 47 Motorola radio up and working. I'm missing a few things. One knob and this little cushion thing that goes around these. Again, these are the buttons that make the thing automatically adjust to non-existent radio stations. So, but there's FM kind of working. I don't think I've completely gotten the antenna situation set. It's kind of back here, and I'm still trying to figure out what goes where. But FM is working. AM broadcast. I think that's it. It is one strong station here.
And the sensational Irish Spring Suns. You know what I'm talking about.
There we go.
It's like the perfect morning reset. You leave
Again, I'm still in the basement, so it'll probably improve as I get this upstairs. And then to play the radio, you take the tone knob and go all the way one way and then back, and that enables the record player. So I'll just turn that on. There it goes. So that's working, and we'll eject here. That turns off. Let me go back to
On
radio
energy to make your backyard the best around.
So that is it.
Connect with skilled professionals to get
Got new grill cloth down there, cabinet all finished, radio and record player working, and this is kind of cool how this thing works. Just hit the button and it kind of slowly opens up. Pretty awesome. Okay, so that'll do it on this video, and thanks very much for watching. I know this is a long one, but I'll see you in the next restoration. Bye.